Okay, okay. Before we start, I need you to do something for me. I need you to go back to that moment in Interstellar. You know the one. Cooper is strapped into the Endurance, watching the clock on his daughter's bedroom wall tick forward in dog years while he ages backwards in space. His daughter Murph, 10 years old when he left, just turned 35 on a video message he's watching with tears streaming down his face. It's one of the most gut-wrenching sequences in modern cinema. Christopher Nolan made time itself feel like a weapon, and Hans Zimmer scored it like a funeral for the concept of fatherhood. It's perfect, genuinely, structurally perfect. But here's what's been keeping me up at night. There is one scene, one single 30-second monologue buried in the middle of Interstellar that almost every viewer either laughs off, dismisses as sentimental nonsense, or completely forgets by the time the credits roll. And I'm here today to argue, with receipts, that it is actually the most important scene in the entire film. And the fact that no one listened to it is exactly why the ending had to be so complicated. I'm talking about Dr. Amelia Brand. Standing in front of a dying star system, defending the indefensible to a man who runs purely on data. She says, and I'm paraphrasing from memory here, "Love is the one thing that transcends time and space. Maybe we should trust it, even if we can't understand it yet." And Cooper, bless him, basically looks at her like she's suggested they navigate by horoscope. So here's today's question, and it is a big one. What if Cooper believed her? Not metaphorically, not emotionally. What if, in that single moment aboard the Endurance, Cooper processed Brand's argument as a scientific hypothesis rather than grief-talking, and it changed every decision he made from that point forward? We are not changing the wormhole. We are not changing the blight. We're not even changing who ends up on which planet. We are changing one internal calculation inside one astronaut's head. One moment of intellectual openness, and it rewrites everything. Welcome back to MiniFlicks, where we do not guess, we theorize. Let's build this alternate universe, brick by brick. First, let's establish why Brand's argument actually holds water within the film's own canon, because the movie itself keeps winking at us. Think about what Interstellar is fundamentally about at its core. It is not about gravity. Gravity is the vehicle. The film is about connection across impossible distance. Cooper and Murph's bond is the emotional engine powering every single plot decision. The watch, the bookshelf, the ghost, all of it is a physical manifestation of a relationship. Now, the film tells us the solution to saving humanity was transmitting quantum data through gravity, via the Tesseract, via the bookshelf, via Murph's watch. And Cooper was able to locate Murph's room specifically inside the five-dimensional space because, as he says, love. He gravitates toward her. Even future-evolved human fifth-dimensional beings couldn't predict which room he'd choose, but he chose correctly, instinctively. The film already smuggled Brand's thesis in through the back door and made it the literal mechanism of salvation. It just never said that out loud. So here's our point of divergence. The exact timestamp. The exact scene. The Endurance. En route to Edmund's planet versus Mann's planet. In the original film, Cooper votes for Mann's planet, the one with a living scientist, the one that makes sense mathematically, and overrules Brand, who votes for Edmund's. Cooper's justification? Brand is emotionally compromised because Edmund is someone she loved. He is correct that she is emotionally invested. He is wrong that this disqualifies her reasoning. In our alternate timeline, Cooper pauses. He remembers her exact words. Maybe we should trust it, even if we can't understand it yet. And instead of overruling her intuition, he runs a different internal calculation. He asks, if I am willing to leave my daughter based on data I cannot yet verify, why am I unwilling to trust a variable, love, connection, pattern recognition, that I have already experienced as real? He votes for Edmund's planet. Now watch the dominoes fall. Domino 1. They never go to Mann's planet. Dr. Mann never gets rescued. He remains in cryosleep. The catastrophic second act sequence, the docking disaster, the explosion, Romilly's death, the entire harrowing sequence that nearly kills the mission, does not happen. The Endurance arrives at Edmund's planet intact, with fuel, with the entire crew. Now, you might say, but Edmund himself is dead. the data would still be corrupted. Yes, Edmund is dead, but here's the thing the film buries in the third act. Brand lands on Edmund's planet anyway in the original ending, and she begins building a colony. With what? With the embryos, with the genetic archive. The planet is habitable. Edmund's death is tragic, but it does not invalidate the planet as a sanctuary. What it does change is this. Without the Mann disaster, they have enough fuel for a different calculation at the black hole. Domino 2. TARS doesn't need to be sacrificed into Gargantua. In the original film, the slingshot maneuver around Gargantua is an act of desperation. They're shedding mass, TARS, then Cooper, to give Brand enough momentum to reach Edmund. It's a beautiful, heartbreaking sequence, but it is born entirely of the cascading failures that started with the Mann detour. In our alternate timeline, the Endurance has enough delta V to complete a controlled slingshot without sacrifice. They can take the gravitational data and keep the crew intact, including Cooper. But here is where it gets truly interesting. Because if Cooper doesn't fall into Gargantua, he never enters the Tesseract. And if he never enters the Tesseract, who sends the data? This is the thread that unravels the entire alternate timeline into something genuinely extraordinary. Domino 3. The bootstrap paradox collapses. In the original film, Cooper inside the Tesseract is the ghost. He always was. Future humans built the Tesseract around the bookshelf because Cooper would fall in and use it. It's a closed loop, a predestination paradox. The original film depends on it. Remove Cooper from the Tesseract, and that loop cannot close. Which means the quantum data for the gravity equation cannot be transmitted through the bookshelf. Murph, back on Earth, now a brilliant NASA scientist, is staring at a watch that isn't ticking in Morse code. A bookshelf that isn't moving. She has the equation. She has been this close for years. But the missing variable, the quantum data from inside the event horizon, hasn't arrived. And this is where Brand's thesis becomes the scientific methodology that saves the species. Because Brand, now on Edmund's planet, with the full crew, with resources, begins transmitting something different. Not quantum gravity data. Patterns. Emotional markers. The specific frequency of Cooper's recorded voice. The watch's original tick pattern from before he left. She is betting on the science of connection, on the hypothesis that if the quantum realm responds to observation, perhaps it also responds to recognition, to love as a tuning fork. Far-fetched? Sure. But remember, the film already told us the fifth-dimensional beings are future humans. Humans who evolved past 3 dimensions of space. What did they evolve toward? Not cold logic. Nolan's film suggests they evolved toward the capacity to perceive and manipulate emotional gravity. Brand's civilization, intact on Edmund's planet, is the seedbed of those humans. The bootstrap paradox doesn't collapse. It just takes a different shape. Here is where this timeline arrives at its alternate climax, and I want you to picture this cinematically because it earns every single second. Earth, NASA's underground station. Murph, older now, exhausted, brilliant, is sitting in front of her father's old watch, the one he left her. She has been treating it like a dead radio for 20 years. And then, not in one explosive moment, but slowly, like a signal finding frequency, the second hand begins to stutter. Not in binary, not in Morse, in something she recognizes before she can name it. The rhythm of her father's breathing when he used to read to her. A pattern she stored in her nervous system at age 10 and has never consciously accessed since. This is Brand's thesis made real. Not love as sentiment, love as data format. The one encoding language that bypasses logic and lands directly in pattern recognition. Murph completes the equation. But here is where our alternate climax diverges most dramatically from the original. Because Cooper is alive, on Edmund's planet, and the quantum channel, now established through emotional resonance rather than physical sacrifice, runs both ways. In the original film, Cooper wakes up in a space station orbiting Saturn, an old man in a new future. And Brand is unreachable on Edmund's planet, and the reunion is bittersweet at best. They are separated by impossible physics in decades of time. In our timeline, the colony on Edmund's planet has been transmitting for years. Earth, saved, rebuilding, now capable of interstellar travel within a generation, launches a return signal, a rescue mission. Not out of sentimentality, out of reciprocity. Brand built the second cradle of humanity. Earth owes her a door. Cooper is not an old man waking up confused in a hospital bed. He is standing on an alien shore, watching a ship breach the clouds. The first vessel from a healed Earth arriving at the world Brand built from grief and faith and one stubborn scientific argument that everyone dismissed as emotion. He has aged. Brand has aged. They are not young, but they are both there. And Murph, now the architect of humanity's salvation, records a final message transmitted across the quantum channel. She is old. She is at peace. She says what she couldn't say when he left, because she was 10 and furious and heartbroken. You were right to go, Dad. And Brand was right about everything else. The final image of this alternate Interstellar is not a man floating alone in a tesseract built by his own ghost. It is a woman on a dying Earth, watching it heal. A man on a new world, watching it begin. And the equation connecting them, written not in gravity alone, but in the specific, unrepeatable frequency of one family's love, scrawled across the quantum foam like a signature. Christopher Nolan made a film about a father's love saving humanity. Our alternate timeline just made it literal. So what does this alternate timeline actually prove? It proves that Interstellar's most controversial scene, Brand's love speech, is not a flaw in an otherwise hard science film. It is the thesis statement disguised as sentiment. Nolan hid it in plain sight and then structured the entire resolution around it while letting the audience believe it was about physics. Cooper's arc in the original film is about a man who thinks in data, learning to act on faith. But he only gets halfway there. He trusts Brand enough to enter Gargantua, but it takes the logic of the Tesseract to complete the circuit. He still needed the math to validate the feeling. In our timeline, he trusts the feeling first, and because he does, the math arrives on its own terms, through its own channel, at the right time. That is the hidden thesis of Interstellar. The universe is not indifferent. It is responsive, but only to the species that evolves past the assumption that love and data are opposites. Brand knew that before any of them. She was just the only one willing to say it out loud. And Cooper, brilliant, stubborn, grieving, extraordinary Cooper, was 30 seconds of intellectual humility away from a completely different universe. 30 seconds. One vote. So here's the question I'm leaving in your comments tonight, and I genuinely want to know. If you were Cooper, in that moment on the Endurance, would you have trusted the data, or would you have trusted Brand? Because I think your answer says a lot more about you than it does about the film. Drop it below. Fight it out. I'll be reading. But hey, that's just a theory. A MiniFlicks Theory. Thanks for watching.